Good morning, America. Deadly Texas floods over the holiday weekend and remarkable stories of survival. Disaster in Texas. This morning, the desperate search. After devastating flash floods in central Texas, leave at least 80 young campers spent the night.
It just feels really surreal. It feels very surreal, like it's not real. These are babies that were lost.
Destroyed cabins and muddy mattresses seen in the aftermath. Survivors bust to safety. This morning, families waiting as 10 girls and a counselor still unaccounted for.
The utter devastation seen from above and on the unrecognizable ground. Buildings knocked off their foundations, cars tossed into the woods, massive tree trunks seen snapped like twigs.
This morning, the stories of hope, heroism, and survival. At Camp La Junta, everyone making it out safely.
On the way here, we saw all of the other camps destroyed, obliterated.
And one woman clinging to a tree for 5 hours, 20 miles from where she was swept away. Her uncle and the man who helped save her joins us live. Plus, the Coast Guard swimmer who rescued more than 150. We'll talk with him, too.
Ginger is tracking more warnings for the hard-hit areas in Texas and more threats. Significant flooding, evacuations, a state of emergency in North Carolina right now. We have team coverage. Matt Gutman with federal agents. Maria Villarreal in the air with the Coast Guard. We're live across the destruction zone.
Live from ABC News headquarters in New York City, this is Good Morning America.
What a heartbreaking weekend in Texas. We hope you are all doing okay after this holiday weekend. All eyes, though, are on those Texas floods.
Yes, they are, George, and we're thinking about all of those precious souls as the scope of this disaster unfolds. Families there are picking up the pieces, some waiting for news about loved ones. President Trump signed a disaster declaration. We're going to get more on that and what the president plans to head to Texas.
And here's what we know right now about the devastation in the Lone Star State. At least 80 people are dead, including 28 children. At least 41 people are still missing, including 10 girls and a counselor from the camp. The local sheriff is vowing to continue search and rescue missions until everyone is found. And these right here, these are just some of the people who were killed.
Our hearts are going out to their families. The flash flooding overwhelmed the Guadalupe River, rose 26 feet in less than an hour, and the water took away everything in its path, including vehicles, knocking buildings off their foundations. And that devastation, it can't miss it. Just heartbreaking. You can see where the water came rushing through the cabins where the girls were staying. Ginger is standing by tracking the threats, including new flooding in North Carolina. That broke overnight. Plus, there's a flood watch for some of the hard-hit areas in Texas right now. We have team coverage, starting with Chief National Correspondent Matt Gutman in Kerrville, Texas. Good morning, Matt.
This morning, our hearts are with Texas, where sudden disaster took dozens of lives. Families and children enjoying a holiday weekend swept away by floodwaters. We welcome you to CBS Mornings. I'm Gayle King with Tony Dokoupil and Nate Burleson. We're going to take a look at this full scope of this tragedy and ask a very big question. How did this happen?
There are, of course, stories of grief in Texas this morning, but there are also stories of hope and the power of the human spirit. The efforts to find survivors, they continue at this hour, and the crews say they are not giving up.
Maurice Dubois is leading our special coverage today alongside a team of correspondents in Texas.
But first, here's today's eye-opener. It's your world in 90 seconds.
We will remain 100% dedicated, searching for every single one of the children who were at Camp Mystic, as well as anybody else.
The rescuers tried their best to get to them.
A desperate search for the missing in Texas.
We're still hoping for the best. That's all we can do, and pray.
We find ourselves in what's a sickening combination of a gravesite and a junkyard.
From up here on the riverbanks, boy, do you get really this scale of how high these floodwaters were. Look, there are cars up here.
Flood victims on the mind of Pope Leo XIV during his weekly prayer in Vatican City.
We pray for them.
President Trump signed a major disaster declaration for Texas, unlocking much-needed federal resources.
This is a 100-year catastrophe, and it's just so horrible to watch.
All of a sudden, we just hear somebody say, "Help, help!"
And we can tell it was a kid. And after about 20 minutes, we just see her pop up out of debris.
Two sisters discover a little girl swept miles downriver by the raging floodwaters.
And she said she was at Camp Mystic, and we're like, that's 6 miles from here.
Yeah. She was not freaking out at all. She was just like, can I take a shower? And we're like, yeah, girl.
She wanted a shower.
Yeah.
That's what she wanted.
Yeah.
It's good to hear some bit of good news from this terrible story. Yeah, because that's where we're going to begin this morning, with the heartbreak and the hope you see there. After that catastrophic flooding in Texas, more than 80 people have died, most of them in Kerr County, Texas. That's outside San Antonio. We're sorry to say that dozens are still missing at this hour.
And that number includes children from Camp Mystic, one of multiple camps along the Guadalupe River. Many people are now asking, was there enough warning before the floods hit Friday morning? CBS Evening News anchor Maurice Dubois is leading our coverage. He's in Kerrville, Texas. Maurice, good morning.
A good Monday morning to you. A flooding catastrophe in Texas.
We are here in the flood zone where nearly 100 people were killed. Others still missing this morning, and more rain in the forecast. It's July 7th. This is today. Desperate search. Crews looking for survivors this morning of that devastating flooding in Central Texas, including at least 10 little girls from a beloved summer camp still missing this morning. A region united in grief and shock.
I'm sure he fought like hell to get the kids and his wife to safety.
And searching for healing today. We're live on the ground with the very latest. Breaking overnight, more emergency evacuations ordered, this time in parts of North Carolina, slammed by the remnants of Tropical Storm Chantal. And severe weather in the Midwest creates a holiday nightmare on one of the busiest travel days of the year. Straight ahead, everything you need to know. Trade war turmoil. President Trump making new tariff threats, turning up the pressure on some of the country's biggest trading partners. This morning, what it all means for consumer prices and the new feud that's erupted between Trump and Elon Musk over Musk's plan to start a new political party. Trash talk. A massive strike of city workers in Philadelphia, including members of the sanitation department, creating a major mess on the streets.
That's bad, yeah. People are walking by and holding their nose.
Just ahead, the new emergency plan launched to pick up all that trash. All that plus prime time. Amazon's big summer sale kicking off in a matter of hours. Other popular stores ready to offer their own discounts. We've got your guide to the best deals. And summer blockbuster Jurassic World Rebirth takes a huge bite out of the holiday weekend box office, raking in more than $300 million worldwide.
None of what you just said is good.
Making Scarlett Johansson the highest-grossing movie star of all time, and Hollywood hearing her roar today, Monday, July 7th, 2025.
From NBC News, this is Today with Savannah Guthrie from Kerrville, Texas, and Craig Melvin from Studio 1A in Rockefeller Plaza.
Morning, everybody. Welcome to Today. We are glad to have you with us on this Monday morning. Craig, good morning.
Yeah, Savannah, good morning to you. The scenes that we have watched unfold over the last few days there in Central Texas, just heartbreaking. The numbers staggering. More than 80 people across 6 counties killed in that catastrophic flooding where you are.
Yeah, I'm right here in Kerrville, Texas, and just a few feet from the banks of the Guadalupe River. And if you could just imagine that 3 days ago on a morning, not unlike this one, it was pouring rain and the water would have been at least 10 feet over my head. This whole area where I'm standing covered with water, and in a matter of moments. In fact, just take a look. Time-lapse video to show you. This is from Kingsland, and you can see just how quickly this all unfolded. The river there seeming to rise out of nowhere. And here in Kerr County, where I am, 28 children died. 10 campers, 1 counselor, still missing from Camp Mystic, not far from here, a popular summer camp and fixture of this community for nearly 100 years. To give you an idea just where all of this took place, Kerr County roughly 90 miles northwest of San Antonio. It's right in the heart of central Texas, and that's really the word this morning. The image being posted online expressing that sentiment. It's the heart of Texas, and a heart that's hurting right now and badly in need of help. Unfortunately, this region is bracing for possibly more rain today. They do not need it. We've got it all covered this morning. We'll start with NBC's Morgan Chesky, who's from this area. His mom still lives here in the region. This is where you grew up. This is your home. I know your heart's hurting, too.
Yeah, Savannah, we're all heartbroken here. So glad to have you here this morning amid this tragedy. And I think everyone is kind of realizing in real time that this disaster, it's absolutely not over here. Texas Governor Greg Abbott telling everyone that we are not out of the woods just yet, especially with more rain in this forecast. We have seen how it is hampering rescue and relief efforts that are ongoing. And the most heartbreaking fact of all, there are still dozens of people here that are unaccounted for.